Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Quick History. Today we're going to be taking a look at the first of two videos on the Ludendorff Offensive. As always, there's a free handout in the description below, and make sure you click on subscribe if you'd like to see more GCSE history based revision content. Let's get into the details. As we saw in the previous video, America joined the war in 1917 as a result of the Zimmermann telegram. However, the Germans believed that it would be early summer of 1918 before the Americans would be able to effectively commit troops to the battlefield. It would take months to transfer men, equipment and weaponry across the Atlantic Ocean into France. As a result, the Germans devised a plan named after the leader of the troops on the Western Front, Erich von Ludendorff, to try and win the war before the Americans were able to commit in significant numbers to the battlefield. To do this, the Germans were going to centre an attack around the city of Arras. By doing this, they were hoping to exploit a weakness in the trenches. The trenches in this particular area of the Western Front were weak and of very poor quality, and had recently been inhabited by the British Army, who were trying to increase the defensive capability of this particular system. If they could attack the trenches round Arras effectively, they'd be able to break through the Western Front and surround the French and British armies to the north and to the south. To do this, the Germans were going to launch what they called a hurricane bombardment, which was unlike anything seen in the previous 4 years of war. The hurricane bombardment would consist of over 1 million shells being fired at a very small area of the line in just a 5-hour period. 1 million shells over 5 hours constitutes about 3,000 shells a minute. When we compare this to, let's say, the Battle of the Somme, the same amounts of shells were fired, approximately over 1 million, but over 1 week. The hurricane bombardment was hoping to shock the British and force them to surrender or retreat. If the hurricane bombardment did not do so, the Germans then planned to send in their elite stormtroopers. Crack, well-trained troops who carried very little equipment, who it was hoped would break through the lines, move quickly and effectively, and force havoc in the back lines of the British trenches. The offensive became known as the Ludendorff Offensive, but also is known as the Spring Offensive or the Emperor's Battle, and began on the 21st of March 1918. The hurricane bombardment took place as planned and was the heaviest bombardment of the First World War. The Germans also used poison gas and then deployed the stormtroopers as planned. The Ludendorff Offensive was initially very successful. The British were shocked and surprised by the scale and quickness of the battle. They'd never seen anything like the hurricane bombardment before, and they'd never seen anything like the stormtroopers before. It was unlike anything that had happened previously on the Western Front. 21,000 British troops surrendered, 20,000 were killed, and 35,000 were wounded. The Ludendorff Offensive was successful in breaking stalemate which had existed on the Western Front since 1914, and it appeared initially that the Germans held the advantage. Join me in the next video where we're going to take a look at the second half of the Ludendorff Offensive. I'll see you then.